Welcome into the Flippin Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star. If you're new here or you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to help us feed a hungry hippo. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Today we're doing my favorite video I do every month. Plush that's sold on eBay. So we're going to look at the month of August. I have every single plush sale from the eBay platform pulled up here to talk about with you. If you want specifics on cost of goods, where we source our plush, what we actually sold them for if we accepted an offer, I do a weekly what sold video that talks about our sales on a week-to-week basis and goes into those details. Today, I just want to take a look at each plush and tell you why or why not it's a good idea to source them for your own business. We're going to start with this vintage Namco Team NASCAR bear. I had to pull it up in this window. I know it looks weird. For some reason, whenever I tried to pull it up like this, eBay said that they couldn't find it and kept erroring out. So I pulled up the actual order. Clearly, this is poop. It sold for $3. It was clearanced out. I was just trying to get rid of it. That's the thing with, see, we looked everywhere. That's the thing with these vintage plushies. Some of them are worth a lot of money, and some are just going to be items that sit around for a couple of years and you finally clearance out. Now, to be fair, plush is extremely long tail. It is the slowest selling category of all time ever. It has the blue ribbon of slow sales. It just takes a long time. And a lot of folks that are new to reselling or new to plush don't know that. There's just some that don't comp well. And more often than not, vintage plush can be very disappointing. So if you're not buying them in wholesale lots or big boxes of plush, if you're actually outsourcing these one by one at the store, don't just see vintage and assume it's going to be a good buy or a good purchase to resell. Do your due diligence and comp the items. I do have a plush guide that has a spreadsheet that will guide you through all that. It also comes with a chapter book with different chapters on myths and FAQs about plush. Has a lot of really great information in it, but it has a spreadsheet that you can save to a PDF on your phone, and you can quickly look up certain items while you're outsourcing. It's quicker than trying to comp everything on eBay, but I've heard this from a lot of people, and I have experienced it. My phone doesn't always connect in thrift stores. It's a strange phenomenon. If I was a conspiracy theorist, I'd say they don't want us to comp on eBay in the stores, but I always can never, that's great English there. I almost always cannot connect or get service in the thrift store. So I do carry my own plush guide around. I carry my jeans guide around on my phone to quickly look at the stuff. Our guides are on sale for $12.49 right now through the end of the year if you want to grab one. Anyway, I would like to also add, NASCAR in general has been poop for me. I do well with football and baseball plush if it's a popular team. And that's an assumption on my part because I don't know anything about sports. I don't know what sports ball is. I don't know how to put the tennis ball in the hoop. Being a little facetious, but I'm not really up to date on sports or sports teams, but I do kind of have a feel for which ones I hear being talked about the most. And I know which ones go to the World Series and the Super Bowl. And I was going to be really cool and try to say the hockey won the Stanley Cup. Look, I know some things. So like the Steelers and Red Sox, those always sell really well for me. The Pirates, the Penguins, that's all stuff I find here in Pittsburgh. But if it's a popular team, it does really well. I just find that NASCAR and basketball don't do that great. But I'm probably the last person you want to take sports advice from. If it's about comic books, horror movies, or true crime, I'm your girl. But I'm not. What I know about sports, I've learned because I'm a reseller. Isn't that so cool, though, how we learn so much just from being resellers? All right, this guy you just saw in a What Sold video this week. It's an elephant. It's MVP. He's a decent bread and butter, so I would absolutely recommend this brand if you ever see it. Elephants in general as well. owls, elephants, rabbits, ducks, and bears, I think, are some of the best animals. This is a Christmas teddy bear. He's a poop. He's a generic. I don't recommend picking up generic plushies unless they're jumbo, like the Walmart holiday themed Valentine's and Christmas, especially after the holidays or right before the holidays. They sell really well, and you can go get them from thrift stores, of course, but you can go to Walmart when they knock the price down on everything after the holiday and pick them up on clearance and then resell them. Some of the really big Valentine's and Christmas, even the Halloween, Walmart branded plush, if they're the giant ones, you can get like $50 for the bears and stuff. I am not kidding you. So don't just say all generic is poop. Just like with clothing, there's poop brands, but even within those poop brands, there's exceptions. Are they booty shorts? Does it have a nice graphic? Is it plus size? You know what I'm saying? But I would say these small ones like this, poop. Now we have another vintage plush that actually comped pretty good. High end of bread and butter. This is a decor. This is what that tag looks like. He's from the 70s. We have a basic fun Care Bear. I talked about Care Bears in a little bit more length in this week's What Sold video. The vintage ones sell for more money, but they're still very popular and people do buy them. Another vintage plush. This is a Liberty toy. I see this brand all the time. I do like it. I love to pick it up when I find it. Liberty toy. And theirs are always going to be the vintage plush that are hard. So they're not like plushy soft. They're like that hard. I want to call it styrofoam, but that's not what it is. But when you squish it, it makes that. It doesn't yield. It's very hard stuffing, and it makes that weird noise like popcorn. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Anyway, look for this brand. Look for vintage toys in general, vintage plushies. Just do your due diligence on the comping so you don't end up with a $3 bear 5 years later. Learn from my mistakes, and you won't have to do the same, or you won't have to make the same mistakes. Gans, this is Glitzy. She's a dragon. I just want to say a couple things about Gans. Make sure you always put whatever's on the tag in your title, the exact name, and this number at the end that they give you. The collectors do look for this number and that name, and put whether or not it has its code. If it has a code, it's a little plastic envelope tied with a ribbon on the animal, and that's how you can tell it's sealed. So you can put code or no code, sealed or unsealed. And always comp Gans, because you're going to find them ranging all over the place in price. And I don't think it's always relevant to the code. I've had some of the sealed code that sold for less than some with a code. So just do your due diligence, but I don't tell people to shy away from these. Even if you found like a 50-cent bin at a church sale, say, or a stuff-a-bag, grab them. They're bread and butter. They do sell. They sell well. They have a good sell-through rate. So they're just not going to be huge money makers. Here's another vintage plush. This was the month of the vintage. Halloween. So these are going to start selling now. Usually my Halloween plushies sell all year. All my holiday themed plushies sell all year. So always list them all year. Don't hold them back. Our best selling holiday is Easter, and those sell all year. But I do say that Halloween will really start to sell in August. And next month, October, is when we're going to start seeing the Christmas ones sell. Double check your listings, guys. If you have active listings that can any way, shape, or form be related to Christmas, Thanksgiving, or Halloween, put those in your title. Put them in the theme in your item specifics. Get your stuff sold by putting the proper keywords in there and attracting the right buyers. Puppets are good, and some are better than others. Pokemon is a good puppet brand. Melissa and Doug make them as well. This is decent. I would tell you to pick this up if it was $1 or less. It's a decent filler bread and butter item. Aurora is a good, solid bread and butter brand. All puppets are good. Some are great. So I would have picked this up if I had found it in a thrift store. I got it in a wholesale, but I would absolutely pick up stuff like this. This could not be tested because it was still in the box, and those tester batteries they have had died. So I just disclosed that in my listing because I would rather disclose that it may or may not work than take it out of the box. But that's a personal choice. If you comp it and it's worth a lot more, if you can assure the buyer that it works, then maybe you want to cut it out of the box and you can disclose that. It comes with its original box. It's been cut out to replace the batteries. Personal choice. But these themed plushies that sing and dance, the animatronics always do well, box or not. Jimmy's a really good brand to look for these holiday plush. I've had Rudolph's, Snowmen. They all sell for really good money. They sell pretty quickly. And Hallmark, Jimmy and Hallmark. Look for those singing, dancing, animatronic plushies. All right, now we have a Lovey. You guys know Loveys are bolos. This one isn't your traditional one that looks like a square, but it's still a Lovey. It's a little piece of security blanket with an animal plush head. That's the criteria. You want to use really good keywords and make sure you comp all your Loveys. Don't have just a price for Loveys in general. I am very guilty of that with a lot of things that I list over and over again because I am a volume seller. I do list a lot of the same stuff. But the thing with Loveys is you don't want to say, oh, they're all 20 bucks or they're all 40 bucks because there's some that are bread and butter that are going to sell for 12. There's some that are going to sell, this is $20 all in. So just do your comping. See, here's another Lovey. This one's, like a $15.50 all in. And this is Cloud Island. That's the more traditional look with the square. Always grab Loveys, especially if you find them cheap. There was a time when you could get them for like $1. Our thrift stores are pretty high on plushies anymore. But sometimes they'll have them in bags, like at the Salvation Army, in the back on the wall where they hang the toys. They'll have bags of Loveys all crammed into one bag, stapled shut for a pretty good, decent price. And sometimes they'll be in with the baby linen, so don't forget to look there too. This is a good bread and butter. So that's what the brand looks like. It's called Alex. It's Rub-A-Dub. These animals are meant to get wet, and they can go in the bathtub with babies or in the swimming pool or whatever. They are meant to get wet, and they have different animals. So look for these. They're going to just be bread and butter filler, but if you're okay with that in your store, and you can find these for $1 or less. A lot of the bread and butter plush are good if you can buy wholesale. Like if you buy the big Gaylords full of plush from American Thrift, if you buy out another seller, if you can go on Whatnot and get them cheap, church sales, yard sales, places where you can get a lot of plush for very good prices. That's where you want to do your bread and butter and filler. And surprise, plot twist, that's why we have a volume-based business, because we have access to, physically here in Pittsburgh, 3 different thrift stores that do 99-cent days on the close. We have Ben's around here, and we also have some wholesale places that we buy from. So we get so much inventory at such cheap cost of goods, it just makes sense to have that volume-based bread and butter business model. Kelly Toy. Kelly Toy's hit or miss. I mean, Kelly Toy makes the Squishmallows, guys. Kelly Toy also makes really cheap generic, like the crane game prizes. So just do your due diligence. Again, research it. This is a pink teddy bear. He is so cute. He sold for $11. He's just really cute though. Like, I just really think he's cute. He's got toe beans. Okay, we don't even have to discuss Beanie Babies, right? They're poop. Don't source them. But why do you have them in your store? Because once upon a time, I bought a Goodwill blue box, and it was full of them. Like, my whole entire order was Beanie Babies, and I wanted to get my money back. You've probably already heard the story before, but if you're new here, you haven't. Yeah, I decided to try the Goodwill blue box, and I got all Beanie Babies, and I set the whole box aside and didn't make it a priority at all. But I think it was over Thanksgiving last year, we quote unquote, took some time off work. But I decided one day, you know what? There was a movie I wanted to watch. It was with Melissa McCarthy where she was a genie. It was a really good movie. I wish I could remember the name. It was really funny. Melissa McCarthy is funny. I think she's cute and I like her movies. She makes me laugh. I wanted to watch that movie and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go up to my office and watch it so Keith can play his video games. And I just sat here and took pictures of Beanie Babies. So, I'm getting my money back at least. Story time. It's always story time on my channel because I like to talk. Poop. Don't do this. Don't buy the tiny keychains. Just don't do it. If you get them in a wholesale lot, set them aside. Make them not a priority. You should always try to sell everything you get in a lot to make your money back and get every penny of profit. But you should never make poop a priority. I have a video all about what to do with poop. I'll have that pop up at the end for you. You can also do lots. So you can, let's say you get a box of wholesale plush and 90% of it's really good and you want to list it. The other 10%, put all the farm animals together, all the dogs, whatever. Just make little lots. Oh, and by the way, Baby Shark is one of those companies that will have you pulled down for a Vero. So don't list these on eBay anymore. This is an older listing. In fact, I can tell you from the carpet in the photo here, this is from our apartment in Florida. So this is at least 2 years old by the time it's sold. So it's poop, number one. Number two, since then, I've been told by my friend Robert that they are pulling these down on eBay. So list them on Macari or Poshmark. Wink, wink. Build-A-Bear, still a really great brand. Does some of them sit and have to go on 50% off discount? Yes. You could have a bolo pair of jeans that sits for a couple of years because it's the wrong size. Maybe Girl Scout bears aren't as popular. Most of my Build-A-Bears sell at a typical sell-through rate for plush, which is 6 months to like 2 years. Some just have to sit and wait until the right person comes along. This year, we had decided we were going to start clearancing out a lot of our older items, especially the plush, because I'm really running out of room to store plush that's listed. I think it's like 4 boxes of plush down in the garage under the stairs. I haven't even opened yet because I don't have anywhere to put them when I list them. So we're really trying to consolidate our plush down and I guess our clothes too. I want to put a wall of shelves down there for my jewelry. And if you haven't heard this before, Keith and I never want to be off site. So if our business ever grows to the point where it's too much for us to handle the shipping or too much for the two of us to handle the listing to keep up with what's selling, or we have so much inventory we would have to go off site to a storage unit or something, we would downsize immediately. We don't ever want employees. We don't ever want assistants of any kind. And we do not ever want to be off site. We want it to just be the two of us in our house working every day. And so I tell you that long story to tell you, we have been clearancing out some of our items this year. Starting in January, I made a special category in my store called clearance, and I put anything I want on clearance into that category. And I set up a sale to grab only that category called clearance and put them at 50% off. And I'm pretty much choosing things that are 2 years or older. I only delist and relist like 10 items a day. So it's not a huge priority. I don't have a lot of stuff in there. But I do delist and relist like 10 items a day. So if they're the older ones, they go back in to the store and clearance. Here's the thing about these Girl Scout bears though. I had one that I had just listed that had sold a couple of weeks ago, and then this one sat forever. So, like I said, it's sometimes it's weird. Like I can list a pair of Miss Me jeans and they'll sell within a couple of weeks at $40, and then I'll have another pair of Miss Me jeans from 2022, and I'm like, these got to go on clearance. They've just been sitting. It could be the size, it could be the style. With Build-A-Bears, it could be the bear itself. A lot of the plain ones will sell before the themed ones, believe it or not. But try to keep them at what they're worth. So you can see this one was $16 plus 7 shipping, and then the clearance was applied. So I don't list them at $7, but I will put them on sale. This, I don't know. I would say some of the princess soft toys I've had were worth money, and some were like this little bear and just kind of bread and butter. But again, if you don't mind bread and butter and you don't mind filler items, Princess Soft Toys is a good brand. It's going to have vintage plushies, a lot of Christmas plushies. Wild Republic is a good brand. For some reason, this really adorable little tiger cub with his little blue eyes didn't sell within a couple of years, so he got put on the 50% off. But I've had other Wild Republic sell within a year and for a lot more money. It could depend on the size. Wild Republic makes a lot of realistic animals, and some of them are really big. This guy is so cute. I always liked this picture of him because it looked like his paw right here is lifted up, like he's posing. He's just really cute. But he did finally find his new forever home once he was clearanced. And here's another Gans. We already talked about Gans. And Disney Pixar Toy Story Woody sold for $18.74 plus $5.50 shipping. You see here it was not on sale. That means it sold very quickly with him being listed. Whether he was listed new or delisted and relisted, I can't remember. It had to be delist, relist, because I'm not listing any plush right now. So sometimes when you delist, relist something, that new listing that's freshened up, I don't just end stuff and put it back. I check the pictures. Sometimes I'll switch the main one around. I check the title. I add keywords or move keywords around and try to build a better title. Sometimes I'll throw the old listings through the new AI lister on List Perfectly just to give it a freshen up. I can change the price, but I do change things. So they're not just being ended and put back in. There's something about them that's going to be different. And then it's a new listing, and I just right place, right time. All right. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything you saw in this video or reselling it all, let me know. And don't forget to join our Facebook group, Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. Go be productive, guys. Go make some money. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Y'all are the best. Bye.